it's really, really, really hard. I think that a lot of investors are lucky that they can step into a firm that has a dependable capital base, that has a brand, that has a variety of past investments that they can point to. Thus, I think that, starting a firm is much like starting a company, which I think gives folks like ourselves, Chaz, intense founder empathy for what founders are going through in their creative process as well as in their fundraising process. And, I essentially called in every social capital favor I had during that period in time. I was not, blessed to come from a family that knew a lot of these mystical beasts known as limited partners that oversee large pools of capital that allocate to venture. And so I was lucky enough to have folks within the venture ecosystem that believed in me and that opened their networks to me. And so cobbling together that first amount of money took about a year. It was hard. You get rejected a lot, about as many times, I bet, as founders get rejected in their early stage rounds. But I learned during that process that just like in life, there's many different flavors of limited partners and folks that back you. And I really wanted to use that North Star of compassion and kindness to drive the limited partner relationships that I chose to have, as well as the capacity to grow with me, because the plan wasn't always to be a solo GP. The plan was to run a full stage or a full stack seed firm. And so I probably could have taken some shortcuts, given away some value in the firm in terms of ownership or other things, but have always tried to take a longer view of what we're trying to build here at KdT. And that took a while to do. And I was lucky enough to be able to fully focus my efforts for a year on that fundraising, while at the same time, to be totally honest, I was putting up my personal capital to invest and seed companies that I was warehousing to bring into the fund, because part of the trick when you're a first-time GP is to allow these limited partners that invest in your fund to have line of sight into what the portfolio looks like. And so a lot of that work is done by warehousing deals that you will then bring into the fund at cost, but that's costly. And there were some scary conversations around the kitchen table with my wife when we hadn't had our first close, but I was outlaying capital in a portfolio that may or may not be backed by other investors that end up investing in the fund. But in the end, I'm lucky to say that we made it through that and have since been able to scale.